Hello again, I am Xarkun, this is World of Warships Legends, and today I am bringing you a video on the Tier 6 Russian Destroyer Minsk. Now first I want to go over my commander build for this ship. Got a level 10 Xarkun here, and his base trait to increase the destroyer's AP shell penetration by a percentage. Right now got it at 3.85%, so that's alright. First row of skills here got Quick Fix, increase module defense against HE damage. Steering gear and engine modules remain functional after sustaining critical damage. This is something you definitely want to use on the Minsk. You definitely want to use it over this. I'll just say that. Next one, Flank Speed. This is one of the key skills for this build. It increases the maximum destroyer speed by 4% at the cost of reduced rudder shift speed, which isn't a terrible trade-off. You'll see that the rudder shift on my build is actually pretty good, and you want to increase the speed on these destroyers as much as humanly possible. That is one of the few things they've got going for them. Let's just say that. Now, third row here, we've got Piercer to further increase the AP shell penetration. This one here, Glass Cannon, it might not be a bad way to go. Increasing the accuracy of these main guns is probably a good idea, but I personally don't want to trade those hit points for main gun accuracy. I want to keep all the hit points that I have on this ship. Lastly, we've got Sidestep, the other key skill in this build. It increases the destroyer's main gun range by 6% here, and increases incoming fire dispersion by 3%, again at the cost of an increased rudder shift time. God, I can't say anything. And that incoming fire dispersion increase, I've stacked a rather low level Philip Vian on top of that. I think if I can pour some more promotion orders into this guy, this will be a pretty good defensive sort of inspiration for Xarkun here on these ships. And of course down here I've got Unstoppable, reduce engine repair time, gain reduced mobility with a disabled engine. Also pretty vital for the Minsk. Now let's take a look at my build on the ship itself. First slot here. I've never really done this before, but I've got main battery mod 2 installed in order to increase the main battery traverse speed, because at base values it is extraordinarily slow. Second, propulsion mod. I think it's important for you to be able to immediately reach full power in this ship and speed up very quickly. Steering gears mod 3. I think you need rudder shift a lot more than you need concealment on this ship. It's got the worst base concealment of any of the tech tree destroyers, I think anyway. I think it's like 7.5 or 7 kilometers, something like that maybe, and it is terrible. There is no use in polishing a turd, as the saying goes. Take a look at the stats here. Hit points, 15,100. Pretty alright, I would say. I think it is beaten a little bit, maybe by the Moss. Could be mistaken. Haven't really done a comparison because I don't think this ship actually compares very well to the other tech tree destroyers. Artillery, 5 130mm guns. They have a firing range of 11.7 kilometers with the appropriate Xarkun skill, and also the Epic Booster of Battle Propensity flag, which I personally would run every time on this ship. These guns reload at 5.3 seconds, which is not bad, beaten of course by the Benson and the Moss, and the 180-degree turn time is 26.1 seconds on my build, which is still extraordinarily slow, but better than the base time of 30 seconds. 30 seconds, of course, is on the quicker end for battleships, so yeah. Very slow turret traverse. HE shell damage 1900, 8% chance to start fire. Maximum AP shell damage 2500. Torpedoes, it's got 8 of them. They reload in 98 seconds. They do a maximum of 17,933 damage, so they hit extremely hard, but they've only got a range of 4 kilometers, so they are very tricky to employ. But I do have some torpedo action in the gameplay for you, so we'll see those in action. Torpedo speed 65 knots. They're pretty fast, so at least they're pretty fast. Maneuverability 46.1 knots on my build, again with that epic booster of battle propensity flag to increase the speed a little bit more. The speed here is this ship's probably its greatest strength. Turning circle radius 690 meters, a little bit on the large side, I suppose. Rudder shift 2.7 seconds, not bad, it's fine. Concealment 7.2 kilometers, it's awful. You're going to be seen and outspotted by every other destroyer in the game, but that is okay because the Minsk is unlike any of those other destroyers. So, okay, now that we've got that out of the way, let's jump into some gameplay. So here we are on Haven in a domination mode game. We are in the Tier 6 Russian Destroyer Minsk. And I'll tell you before this game starts that this particular game is my all-time high damage record in the Minsk. This is a very difficult ship to get super high damage games in. It might not be so difficult if the turret traverse wasn't so abysmal. I feel like I spend a lot of time managing the turrets, and the turret lock or the gun lock option on, I believe, controller preset 3 is extremely useful for this ship. I would highly recommend using it if you don't already, because managing the turrets in this particular ship is going to be key. Now, you'll notice immediately that I am not sailing for any cap circle whatsoever. The Minsk is not good for taking cap circles early on in the game, especially when there are 3 enemy destroyers, all of whom are entirely capable of outspotting you. Also, if you are in a cap circle, you are more likely to be shot at by the enemy. And if you are on the front lines, you are more likely to be shot at by the enemy. This ship, with its incredibly high sea detectability range, is not great for spotting other ships. Again, it will be outspotted by any destroyer except itself. And it's not for spotting. It is a long-range support fire ship. What I find you want to do is have friendlies between you and the enemy, because the enemy is more likely to shoot at the friendlies than they are at you. But good thing about this ship, the guns are pretty dang good. We're going to start firing on this Scharnhorst here. I don't know if anybody's aiming at us yet, but the other strength of this ship is its incredible, blisteringly fast speed. And it makes it pretty easy at long ranges, say 9 kilometers or more, to dodge incoming fire from the enemies. That is made even easier by the skill of Gurins, which increases the incoming fire dispersion. Stack that skill on top of Vian as an inspiration, and I think you got a pretty strong build there. You definitely want to be able to dodge incoming salvos, and you're going to do that by speeding up and slowing down at every opportunity by messing with the rudder or the throttle controls. Also by turning and just sort of actively dodging. You're going to have to do that a lot. You might as well just sail around in the open, as I am doing, and shoot your guns at anything in range. You want to try to start fires on these battleships. Hopefully they'll use their damage control and you can start another fire that will burn for the duration. If you get broadside targets, any broadside targets, and you're using Xarkun, you can shoot AP at their broadsides, battleships, cruisers, not really other destroyers, but definitely battleships and cruisers, after you have started a fire on them. That is basically my strategy for that. Versus other destroyers, shoot the HE at them. These are 130mm guns. They pack a hefty punch against destroyers, but you do not want to go seeking fights with other destroyers. Every other destroyer in this game will be able to get their guns to bear much quicker than you will be able to do, and that will give them a decisive advantage in close-range encounters. So if you see another destroyer while you are in the Minsk, you want to immediately turn and begin kiting away, and you want to fire at the enemy destroyer as you are kiting away. The further you get from them, the harder it will be for them to hit you, but it will be relatively easy for you to hit them. One of the good things about the Minsk's guns is that they have pretty flat shell arcs, so they are pretty easy to aim. And now we're going to get into a little bit of a sequence here, which demonstrates some rather unconventional strategy. You see, the enemy team has captured 3 of the capture points, which is not good. At this point, I need to do something in order to give us a shot at winning this game. So I need to capture this objective here. Unfortunately, there is an Alabama inside this cap circle. And as soon as I enter it, we are going to see that it is contested because of this Alabama. Now, thanks to the incredibly flat shell arcs of these guns, I cannot shoot over this island. I am also spotted because I am in the view range of some ship there off to my starboard side, so not great. Now I'm concealed behind this island, but this Alabama is still in the cap circle. I want to get him out of the cap circle, so I am going to mess with him. I'm going to sail up, hit this island, get in his sights, shoot a couple shells at him, back up, and then slam forward on the throttle again. And what I'm trying to do here is bait him into shooting me. Because if I can do that, and there he goes. He shot me. Looks like maybe a shell hit and did an overpen. But whatever. The goal here now is to spring out and then immediately slow down and put a smoke screen up. I thought maybe this Alabama might start sailing forward and I could launch my torpedoes at him, but I wanted him to get out of the cap circle, which he did, and he is now allowing me to take it. These enemy ships cannot hit me, they can't see me now with the smoke screen, and the smoke screen lasts for a decent amount of time, I think about 1 minute and 30 seconds. Not quite as long as smoke screens on the other nation's destroyers, but it is serviceable. And since you only have 2 smoke screens, I find that you want to use these sparingly. You want to do most of your shooting at enemy ships from max gun range. You want to be actively dodging their incoming salvos. And you want to use smoke in situations like this, where you have a number of targets that you can shoot at. No torpedo threats around, all of the enemy destroyers are dead, so I can sit here and farm some damage on these guys. Just lit another fire on that Vanguard. The Alabama is no longer on fire. I was hoping that maybe that shot would start another, but it has not. So these destroyers, they are gunboats. They do very well at kiting away from enemy ships. It is relatively easy to dodge incoming salvos, especially if you are active with your throttle control and you mess with it. Unfortunately, the guns turn so slowly that you have to spend quite a bit of time getting them on target, and the torpedoes are very, very short range, so you shouldn't really count on them. They are mostly suicide torpedoes, but occasionally you will find situations where you have battleships hugging islands. Now this Alabama is hugging this island extremely closely, and we've got a Jean Bart incoming. And we also have a Kutuzov out there, who is 8 kilometers away from us, so he's relatively close to being able to spot us. We're going to open fire on him. He's low health. If we can take him out, we're going to have a better chance at ambushing that Alabama over there. Now, he is laying smoke, and somehow our shell hits at just the right time to take him out and awards us the kill. So, that's nice. Jean Bart here is concentrating on shooting somebody out over there to the left. I don't know who. I can't hit him over this island, so I'm going to sneak forward ever so slightly. And now I am spotted. I'm going to start shooting at him. He does not look like he is extremely interested in shooting me, so that's okay. But I don't really want to give him the chance, so I'm going to back up again. Now, what to do here? I would like to come around this corner and torpedo this Alabama, and possibly also this Jean Bart. So, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to pop the speed boost here any second now, and I am going to make a rather aggressive ambush. These destroyers can be played aggressively, especially in the late game. You absolutely can make ambush runs on battleships like this, and given the terrible torpedo range, I assume that you are encouraged to do this. Now, coming out here, I do lose quite a bit of HP. Torpedoes hit the Alabama, take him out, and unfortunately, I did not give that Jean Bart enough lead. He is able to launch forward, and all of my torpedoes miss. That is sad, but I am able to pop the smoke screen, and I'm going to run into this island, which is going to stop my forward progress and make sure the smoke screen conceals me. And now I am again in a situation where I'm using the smoke screen to maximum effect. I am able to sit here unmolested and shoot at these remaining battleships. I'm at 67,000 damage right now, which I think is pretty respectable for this ship. It is not easy to get this much damage in this ship, but I'm not done yet. I'm going to get more damage. So, anyway, as I farm this ship, what are my thoughts on it? Well, it is extremely difficult to play. It is extremely difficult to get good games in it, and I think your ability to influence matches is limited in most circumstances. But, that being said, I kind of love this ship, and I kind of hate it at the same time. It is always a thrill to play, especially when you get in situations like the one I had there with that Alabama and Jean Bart, and you pull off ambush torpedo runs like that successfully without dying. That can feel extremely thrilling, extremely rewarding, gets the heartbeat going, the adrenaline pumping, all that. Smokescreen now is running out, and the Vanguard is out there. We're shooting him. We've lit him on fire once, and we've got a friendly Minsk right there, actually. It was his torpedoes, I believe, who hit me. Minsk, again, has 4-kilometer torpedoes. I have no idea why he launched those. I assume perhaps he did not know the range. Well, you're not going to hit anything unless you get suicidally close, so I would say don't count on the torpedoes. This is definitely a gunboat, but this is not a gunboat in the way that the Benson or even the moss is. And the key to that is the extraordinarily slow turret traverse. This ship will easily outturn its turrets, and you have to be able to manage these effectively. But this is sort of a general idea of what I think a very good Minsk game is. That Vanguard is about to die, and the battle is about to end. We get, I think, 94,000 damage before all is said and done, and the killing blow on that Vanguard. So there you have it. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you have not subscribed to my channel and are watching this, consider subscribing. Got a lot of World of Warships Legends content coming all the time, and I've got a few more Minsk videos I could put out for you if you are interested. Alright, thanks for watching. See you next time.